My name is Richard Barth. I'm the president and owner of the Purple Heart Hunting Program, and I work in conjunction with Safari Club International and the Alaska chapter through the Wounded Warrior on Safari program. Back in 2011, I was the natural resource manager on Fort Greely. Fort Greely had, at that time, a moose population of about 7.2 moose per mile. The state goal is 1 to 2 moose per square mile, and because Fort Greely has a large fragmented habitat with a lot of fencing running around on it, the moose were becoming, a management problem. So we came up and devised a moose mitigation plan, which included hunting. So the idea then was to invite veterans on post to hunt because they all have security clearances and ID cards and could get on the installation to do that hunting. It seemed just like a win-win, the Army supporting disabled veterans.
My name is Rashad Joseph. I'm from Rockmart, Georgia. I was in the U.S. Army paratrooper, 425th Airborne Brigade. So I didn't grow up hunting. I actually just started hunting in probably 2017. And so as I've engaged in it more, it's kind of given me that re-jolt in terms of applying skills from the military. So I think the skills that you learn in the military transition over to the things that you do to prepare for a hunt. So I was one of the first people here. The camp was set up, they welcomed me in, and we just kind of hung out until everyone showed up at camp. It's our first day, people are heading out as we speak. We are hunting on military ground. Hopefully we're gonna be able to hunt on some private land as well too. We know there's bulls around and calves around. It's just about, getting out in the field and finding them.
Because I have military experience and was working with soldiers, I've seen a lot of them that were the 80–90% disabled, still totally functional and able to go out and hunt on their own. What I did notice was the 100%ers were your amputees and the guys who had the most difficult time hunting. I went to the state local board advisory committee and said, how can we change the law? I'd like to make it for 100% disabled veterans who have Purple Hearts. Mostly because we have such a wonderful place here that we could take the most injured and beat up guy and get them a moose.
My name is Destin Benoit from Lafayette, Louisiana. I was a Green Beret, retired in 2016. I grew up hunting through my service, living in Colorado. I was able to get into big game hunting, really enjoy it. It's a little bit more difficult now, physically, climbing, doing all the hiking stuff. It's a little bit more challenging. You just move a little slower, but you get there in the end. Heard about this hunt from a Purple Heart, a veteran. I put in for 3 years. Out of the blue, I got a phone call. I said, hey man, congratulations. Can you go? And I'm like, well, absolutely, I'll be there.
My name's Scott Canino, originally from San Bernardino, California. I was in the United States Army and retired as a Sergeant Major. This has been incredible. I've never been to Alaska. I've never had the opportunity to hunt moose. First moose I've ever seen in my life was yesterday morning. When I pulled up the email from the state saying that I had drawn, I had to read it a couple times to make sure that that was correct because I knew it wasn't an easy draw.
When COVID came up, we got restricted from being on post and hunting on Fort Greely anymore at that time. So we moved off into the Donnelly Dome training area and set up an actual realistic Alaska moose camp. First year, we only had like a couple days to pull it all off, and I reached out to Safari Club and Outdoor for Our Heroes, and they made arrangements to get everything I needed here in about 48 hours, and we set up a moose camp. And that year we pulled off still 100% success with everybody, doing it completely different. Since that time, Safari Club International Alaska chapter has really come to my aid and has really involved, where Safari Club had come and provided most of the equipment and the gear and everything for us to do it outside, and the funding to bring the soldiers to Alaska. Our non-residents get funded to Alaska. All the hunters get all their expenses paid. We pay for the butchering of their meat. We pay for the shipping of the meat back to home to them. We pay for their hunting license. We pay for all the food here in camp. It's quite the undertaking, and it's a pretty expensive bill at the end of the year to pull it all off. But we've been doing it that way for the last 4 years, and it's just been totally successful. It's been very therapeutic on that perspective. It draws the camaraderie out of the guys. So it's a great program, and it's a calling at this point for me.
My name's Adam Steele. I'm from Hamilton, Virginia. I'm 42 years old. I served in the Marine Corps for 7 years. This is an amazing experience out here. The folks that put this on have done a great job of bringing us all in and setting this up, and it's great to connect with other veterans and folks that have the Purple Heart from other branches, and share the stories and learn their background and their experiences, and really helps with understanding the sacrifice that we went through and everything.
When you leave service, that's one of the things that you know you're going to miss is the camaraderie and being able to hang out with the guys, to be able to come back together and be introduced to fellow service members that you haven't met before and hear their stories. It's really, really, really cool because that was a special part of all of our lives. You know, as hard and difficult as it was, it's something that we hold on to closely and we have fond memories of. To be able to revisit it with brothers out here, it's great. That there's places in Iraq and Afghanistan where we have shared experiences, and there's even small things like my guy Travis. You know, we started talking about where we each did basic training, and it turns out that he was in A company on Fort Benning and I was in B company. We were within about 50 to 75 feet of one another at one point without knowing it, and here we are in Alaska hunting moose.
Right now I have two types of partnerships. I have a partnership with Safari Club International, Alaska chapter, and they provide 99% of the funding. So without SCI, I could not do this. The other partner I have is the 49th Missile Defense Battalion, part of the Alaska National Guard, and they provide all the labor help. My guides, the guys who bring the meat out of the field. Without the 49th Command, I couldn't do it. I'm totally grateful upon them. So between Safari Club and the 49th, they make this happen. And anybody that's volunteered begs me to come back the next year and do it. And I got a couple of guys who didn't get to come this year because I brought other folks on that'd been wanting to come, and they're texting me every day, how's it going, you know? So my daughter's cooking for us this year. My niece has cooked for us in the past. So I get cooks that know how to cook, and we get great meals out here, and we eat like kings.
I'm Staff Sergeant Colton Spradlin with the Alaska Army National Guard. I'm with the 49th Missile Defense Battalion out of Fort Greely, Alaska. I've done 7 hunts total with the Purple Heart hunting program. I had a former platoon sergeant that was doing the hunt prior to me. They needed some muscle to carry out some meats that Wounded Warrior got. So I came and helped with that and started asking questions. I came back the next year to help escort and guide. I'm going to keep doing it going forward, try to get as much help as I can. I always spread the word throughout my unit.
My name is Staff Sergeant Travis Hall with the Alaska Army National Guard, 49th Missile Defense Battalion. This is my second year volunteering with this program. I keep coming back because it is fun. It's a way for us to give back to the veterans before us that made sacrifices that we haven't made. So it's a good opportunity for us to share the knowledge that we've gained since we've lived here in Alaska.
They're amazing, yeah. Definitely kudos to those guys because they know the ins and outs of all this, and so it makes it such a successful hunt for all of us.
Just incredible, the amount of support that we've received from the garrison, from Rick, from Purple Heart, from SCI, from everybody. It's pretty apparent that this is a passion project for a lot of people.
Name's Woody Coots, Marine Corps. My time in the service, Vietnam, Combined Action Group. Actually read about it, put in for it. Third time I've got it. In 19, I hunted with Travis Hall. Got a nice 62-inch moose. Very good time.
We normally have everybody show up 2 full days out. That way we have 1 full day to orientate, check weapons, let everybody know where everything's at, run and get the last minute stuff everybody needs. If they've got medical conditions, we've got generators for CPAC machines, which we use a lot. And anything else, if they got food allergies, we adjust our menus to suit those folks. The first day was a little rough because we had a lot of wind. We got 1 moose the first day, we got another moose today, so if we can keep that going on, we'll have success this year as well. We'll get all 6 moose. We got a good record, we want to try to keep it.
Just dropped the moose earlier this morning at 7:25. I got out here about 7 in the morning. 7:15, we saw a mother and a cow, so we stopped, took a look at them, pulled down maybe another 50 yards or so, looked off to our left and saw some white antlers off in the distance, about 200 to about 175 yards or so out there. Rusty and I hopped out of the Defender. The sun was shining, we had good visibility on his antlers there. He scented us, so he started kind of trying to push back into the brush here up in the burnt pines. Pushed up a little bit more on a rise, about 150 yards out from him, had a shot and took it. Went straight down and laid right where he was, dug his antlers right in the ground. Yeah, it's my first hunt ever, so it's, I'm starting out on the top of the hunt and food chain.
It's my legacy. I've spent 40 years serving soldiers, and it means everything to me. I couldn't imagine if I got beat up the way I love to hunt, and if I'd have been an amputee and nobody here to help me. So I do it. Can't help it. That's the one question I hate getting. Apply early before December 17th every year to the DM795 hunt. You won't pay nothing, we'll support you. And to date, as of this moment, we have a 100% success rate for every hunter that's come through camp.
I can't thank them enough. It's such an honor and a blessing to have the opportunity to do this, especially in an amazing environment like this up here in Alaska. I wouldn't have never really thought of to do on my own, but have them, facilitating this and taking care of everything and taking care of us out here. Nothing but the deepest gratitude for all of it. Well, I'd say sign up for it. Definitely, anybody that meets that criteria should be getting signed up for the DM795 hunt.
And I think when the animals come out, it definitely gets the adrenaline going. So it was an amazing experience. I'm just kind of hooked.
I know, what it would take money and effort-wise, and it would probably not be attainable if it wasn't for this opportunity.
Hunt of a lifetime. It's one of those things for the books,
It's enjoyable. It's a good time.
All right, well, we're going to turn to and get this thing ready to harvest and stuff. So, yeah.